Hey everybody, welcome back to episode number 3 of the Wildland Farmstead podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Jared.
And today we're going to be starting a series on farming myths. Today specifically we're going to be talking about the myth that organic agriculture can't feed the world.
Yeah.
It's a big one. But first, it's been a couple months. I think I looked back today and it was like 2 months ago since we did our last podcast. Because we did record one, but I successfully deleted it before I uploaded it to YouTube. So, my bad. So, it's been a couple months. So, we're going to start by doing a farm update because a lot has gone on. And then we'll get into the myths part of the podcast. So, it's June here now. It's really...
End of June.
Yeah, it's really hot.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get pretty dry. It's rained a little bit, but it's not been very substantial. But even so, we've been able to harvest some things. Jared and Maya just harvested 20 pounds of potatoes.
Taters, yeah, a little potato patch. Yeah, our daughter is in charge of the potato patch. That is her responsibility. So she planted, watered, and whatnot of the potatoes, and we just now got to harvest some. Yeah, she was so proud of her 20 pounds. Yeah, she did good.
She did a great job. We've got lots of things in bloom. The milkweed is going really strong, and there are an enormous amount of bees, more bees than we've ever seen before.
Ever.
All over the milkweed.
Well, yeah, we don't have honeybees yet. They're just wild native bees.
Yes.
Covered.
Yeah.
Carpenter bees, all kinds of bees.
I got a little video that I'll post later, but it was pretty exceptional. There was probably 10 or 15 bees just on our one little patch. So that was awesome.
Tomatoes are coming on.
Mm-hmm. We got to harvest some really good sized cucumbers, also some really good sized radishes.
Oh yeah.
For the first time ever.
Radish seed will be dry here. Yeah, we harvested our peas. They're drying right behind the camera. And we're about to be threshing our winter peas. And cilantro seed is drying down. So we'll be harvesting that soon. And threshing that. What else? What else are we putting in trellises?
Probably going to be planting our cabbage soon, our fall crops.
Yeah,
We'll be planting another round of onion seeds. The onion bloomed and we saved seeds from it. And so we'll be planting those seeds soon.
Yeah. Harvested garlic.
Harvested garlic.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes are in the ground. Okra's in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Calendula's blooming.
Marigolds
are blooming. So it's kind of...
And
good.
We're bringing rabbits back. We're in the negotiation. Yeah, bringing rabbits back.
So we had rabbits originally, and they produced a lot of manure, which was great. But we were trying to essentially breed a grass-fed rabbit. And they had a lot of trouble breeding and producing offspring,
and we just didn't have enough grass at the time.
Yeah, our soil, our just even our yard grass was really poor, and so and the way we were managing them, it was like a lot of filling up 16 different tiny water bottles every day, and just in the winter they would all freeze, and so just for lots of reasons we decided we want to move away from rabbits. We got rid of rabbits, but now we're wanting to try and move towards some commercial vegetable production, and we need more compost than we can really produce. So we decided to go back to rabbits, but not try to do them exclusively grass-fed, because we really just want them, because we really didn't like the meat that much. So we're really just going to keep them predominantly for manure and then to sell to others who might want it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably still eat some. But, yeah, mainly just for manure production.
Because they produce so much manure, and it's really high quality, and you can actually... We will compost it, but you can actually put it directly onto the garden.
Without it burning them, yeah.
Yeah, but we will still put it through a compost cycle.
Yeah.
Just so it can be a little bit more broken down. But, yeah, we're bringing back rabbits. It may be a bit, because we've got to build some infrastructure since we got rid of... We just sold
all of it.
Sold the rabbits, sold the cages. So it'll be a little bit, but we've decided to bring them back.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we had baby ducks the last time we did a podcast, but we had a mom hatch out 4 Welsh Harlequins and 1 Muscovy, and now we have 3 Muscovy moms and 1 chicken mom sitting on more eggs, so there'll probably be more babies to be hatched out soon.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's always fun. Some of them should be really close, really close. If they were fertile, well, I think some of them gotta be.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll see. Any more?
Wood shop updates. I guess we should have said we were going to do a farm and wood shop update.
Yeah.
Wood shop updates. We are at the farmers market, the Nashville Farmers Market, on Saturday and Sunday now.
Yeah, most of them.
The you can come see us at the Nashville Farmers Market, and yeah, like Jared said, most of them, unless we have like another market that we've already committed to. Here in a couple weekends, we have Crafty Bastards Night Market. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be drinks and food, so, you know, if you live close, come on out. But most Saturdays and Sundays now through October at least, we're going to be set up at the Nashville Farmers Market with wood turning. So that's been a cool change.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know of any other wood shop
We have
updates.
live flower vases.
Oh yeah, I don't
like,
know if we talked about that.
In a real legitimate way. I don't know if we did last time. Like, we have bought 1-inch and 2-inch glass inserts. I should have had one here, but
yeah,
it's essentially kind of like, this one doesn't fit one, but it's like a little glass insert that you can just slide down into the vase, and that way you can use it with live flowers, and people have really seemed to react well to that.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of those. Yeah, so if you need one, check out our Etsy shop. I don't know of anything else. I don't have anything else on the brain. So,
I guess we'll get into the farming myths part.
Farm
of the
myths, yeah.
And the specific farm myth that we're doing today is organic agriculture can't feed the world.
Yeah.
This is one that I used to hear all the time. I feel like I haven't
Still hear it.
heard it as much lately. You still do, but maybe that's just because, like, when you're first getting into agriculture, you're sort of looking at everything, and now we're kind of like past the point of examining whether it actually can or can't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Just whatever. But today we're actually going to talk about the reasons that we think that this is a myth, and some facts and figures about why we think that organic agriculture absolutely can feed the world.
Yes. I will make the statement, like a disclaimer. No, if we just everything tomorrow switched over, will it begin to feed the world? No, there will be a transition period. But the question, like the theoretical question, can it be done? Yeah, 100%, absolutely. There's not a question of whether or not it can, in my mind. Not just in my mind, the numbers bear it out. You know, that's the important part to me. Like, I think we could kind of ask the question, like, why does this come up? You know, like, I remember being in college, and I did an agriculture program, which I deeply regret. I would do something different because it was no help whatsoever. But they make it seem like it's just the world's going to fall apart and it will not function. There will be no food if we don't do these things. And
What things?
If we don't spray glyphosate, if we don't use genetically modified seeds, if we don't do these things, it's just the world will just descend into chaos and poverty. And they really have this like Messiah type image of themselves, like we're saving the world from a global disaster by doing this thing. And that's how a lot of people, I feel like, justify it.
And not to be disparaging to people who are farming like that now, because like you said, if those types of farming methods were just cut off tomorrow, there would be a lot of death.
Oh, there would be. Yeah, there absolutely would be.
But can we transition to something?
Yeah, can we transition? Yeah, that's the question. And the way they frame it is like, no, it's just not even possible. Like, and I wholly disregard that. That's completely nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is to say something about artificial fertilizers just for a moment. Sidebar. I know that there's a lot of people who think that we just need to just do away with all fossil fuels right now, and this is kind of touching on another myth. Like, but if we did that tomorrow, like, we're talking about droves of people starving to death. You know, natural gas is the main component in our fertilizers, and most people use inorganic fertilizers on their fields, which feed billions of people. Like, if we just stop that, there will be starvation. But just the question, can we do without it? Yes, absolutely we can. And we should move towards it. But it can't be a light switch.
It's going to take time, effort, energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, some, like, good resources to just combat this question. Like, a super old one is Farmers of 40 Centuries, Organic Farming in China, Korea, and Japan. F.H. King wrote this book, like, way back. Like, I can't even remember when it was.
1873? The number's...
Yeah, originally published in 1911.
1911.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was before people were even talking about, like, the need for, like, GMOs or...
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have tractors, like, widespread. And he highlights that in the book. Like, most of these families kept working animals. And he factors that into all of his... I mean, a great book, full of research and data. And he was just talking about how, like... well, hold on. Let me rewind and go to today's number. Just so we can have today's numbers of, like... Yeah, like, let's talk about today's numbers. So the average farm size is around 446 acres. Today's farm in the United States. And that farm feeds about 160-ish people. We'll just keep the number simple.
Okay, say that number one more time.
446 acres feeds about 166. So just say 140 acres feeds 160 people, just to keep the numbers real simple.
Okay.
In the U.S.
Right.
So those are today's numbers. Our farms in the U.S., about 446 acres, 140, feeds 166 people, 160 people. That's how many acres it takes to feed that many people today, right now. So F.H. King, so when you put that down into how many people per acre, that's like 0.37 people per acre get fed.
And these numbers are based on people using conventional non-organic methods.
Right. So, back in this day, there was no other option except what we would call organic today. And not only organic, but they were using human and animal labor. So we didn't have tractors, we didn't have any of this. So, these numbers are just wild. So he documents all kinds of families. And he was saying the average of them, so it would be like 1,783 people would live in a square mile and be fed from that square mile. 212 cattle or donkeys that were fed on that square mile.
How does that convert to acres?
I'm going to get there.
Who's going to get there?
Going to get there. Hold on. A square mile is 640 acres.
Okay.
So... And those were exclusively used for labor. 212 cattle or donkey.
So not a food source.
Not a food source. But they were eating on that square mile.
The cows and donkeys were eating food,
Eating food.
but they weren't used as a
They
food
were
source.
not used as a food source.
Got it.
And then 399 pigs, which were a food source. So that is about 2.78 people that were fed per acre. And that was his average of all over the area. But there were cases where he got much more, where they were able to get much more production, like 6 people per acre were being able to be fed. Instead of this 0.37 is what today's average is.
So round up of what you said.
Yeah.
Today's modern methods that we can't do away with.
Right.
Peed. I don't even know what that was a combination of.
Feed
half
people.
Feed half a person per acre.
Yeah. If you're rounding up,
Feed half a person per
you
acre.
can round. It's closer to a third, but
So
yeah.
we're being generous. They
Yeah.
feed half a person per acre. But the methods they were using back in the 1900s, which today would be called organic natural methods, feed 2 people an acre.
Yeah, we're rounding down.
So we're being generous.
We're being generous all the way across the board.
So they were 1, 2, 3, 4 times more productive with their organic methods. On average, some people were way more productive.
Oh yeah, on average. And these people were saving their own seed, which that's a whole nother discussion about GM seed, and that's a whole nother myth that I would like to talk about. That one really grinds my gears. But yeah, so just the fact that we just can't, and that we're way more productive today versus then. This is completely not true. Now, if you want to make the argument, is one farmer able to produce more feed or feed more people? Yeah, you can probably say that. But I mean, that's really just because of fossil fuels, really.
And I don't even know how to succinctly include fossil fuels in this. How do you even factor that in? The fuel that's being used to grow the crops is this non-renewable.
Yeah, I can't remember.
resource.
Well, yeah, I can't remember what it's like an ungodly amount of human labor is stored up in 1 gallon
That's what I'm trying to express. I
of
guess.
just gasoline. I mean, most of it's diesel, but so 1 barrel of gasoline. I think it's I'm not even going to try to guess. It's an ungodly amount
But these
of human
numbers
labors.
of saying they feed half a person per acre don't even factor in the fact that the diesel fuel used to feed the people also took an enormous amount.
There's an energy waste.
Energy, the conversion.
Yeah, the conversion is, and so all in efficiency, energy in versus energy out. That's how we measure real efficiency. We're way less efficient than they were, and using Joel Salson, real solar dollars. They were using real time solar dollars because they were using cattle and donkey to work. Versus now we're using stored up solar energy in the form of fossil fuels that is highly compressed and highly dense. And so the efficiency is just not even anywhere close. But, so I just don't...
Where does it even come from?
Just
too many people have... Well,
I'm just going to say, these guys are good people. These guys and girls... They're good people. I have nothing against any of these farmers who farm this way. I have nothing but respect. But they really, there is this like I said, this messiah. I'm feeding the world, and they're doing the best job they can. But there is really,
and they are feeding the world.
They are feeding the world. They are feeding the world. There's no question about that. But there is a whole establishment of marketing, these seed companies, fertilizer companies, all of this.
Too many people have too many interests wrapped up in it
Yeah.
to let it change.
and they are, I feel like they are using the good people who want to feed the world, who want to do good, and selling them a bill of goods that's
False.
yeah, not real. It's not there. And so this is just talking about production methods, them versus now versus then. But we're not even like discussing all the amounts of like wild food that goes completely wasted and is, for all intents and purposes, organic, natural. It's just growing. Like, I don't know how many pounds. Samuel Thayer.
Before we go down this route.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. So, you did say one thing. Like, the one thing you can say is that one person is able to feed more people than one person could feed back then.
Yes.
So.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's kind of like saying, I don't know, something crazy. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. You finish your question.
Okay. So because of fossil fuels,
Yeah.
because that energy has already been stored up,
yeah,
one person is able to feed more people.
Feed more people, yeah. But I mean, you're like talking like, about like having a ghost army.
I got you.
But
all I wanted to touch on was like, yes, it may be true that if we want to transition to organic and natural methods, more people will have to become farmers. We can't have this like 1% of the population.
Oh yeah, no,
being
no,
farmers, which
no.
I don't think is a good idea anyway.
No, that's super unstable, and the average age of like farmers is like increasing. I haven't checked it in a while, but it's like really, really high. It was like 60 something, where it's like a good healthy replacement level should be more like 30, if I remember correctly. It's like really, really, really out of whack. I mean, it may have even got higher. I'm not sure. I haven't checked on that in a while. But, yeah, sorry, my brain went in several different places. But, yeah, you just really can't compare now and then, and I don't think that it is healthy to have 1% of the population. And there's a lot of people who are, well, if we just went back to this, 90% of the population will have to be in agriculture. I don't actually think that that's true either.
Because there are some advancements that have been made since 1900 that we could use to our advantage.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that these methods, when you read them, they're really, really intensive. They're really, really management intensive.
Mm-hmm.
But they're highly productive as far as feeding people. But I think that there is a way where you can, using permaculture and other more passive systems and intelligently designing systems, that you can way increase food production. You would increase the amount of farmers. There's no doubt. And I would make the argument we should. We should increase the amount of farmers. It should not be 1-2% of the world's population. No. But you would increase the amount of farmers, but it wouldn't be 90. I just don't think that number is super high. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy high, people. And
we're not even talking about, I don't know where they got 90%, but we're not even talking
there's
about
some people who,
how much food gets wasted.
Oh, yeah.
So the amount of food that we need is way less.
Oh, than we actually grow. Yeah, I think depending on what study you look at, food waste is anywhere from 30 to 40% of all of the food.
That's so much.
I mean, just take low number 30. That's an incredible amount of food. We could be growing 30% less food right now, and everyone would still be getting fed the same. And I get there's there are people who are food insecure. I understand that, but it's not a lack of growing that people are food insecure. There's completely different issues, and they can't really be lumped together.
And this is also a nice segue into food gets wasted, and all the wild food that
just goes completely untapped. I mean, there's no real waste in nature. I mean, something is going to fill that void. Mice, birds, whatever, they're going to come there, and but I mean, a lot of landfills, yeah, they just are like methane exuder. I mean, they're just like spewing methane because all of this food is being anaerobically digested by something. I mean, I would even be more okay if we like set up like communal. We separate our trash, and you can throw your food away, but let it go to like a big chicken composting yard where we can be going and like have a community, like a egg pickup or something. I mean, there's all kinds of like cool things, yeah, that you could like come up with to divert this waste stream and stop just letting it away. Yeah, and then becoming a problem at the same time because it's dangerous. Methane at high densities is incredibly flammable. It's really dangerous. But anyway, yeah, there's all of this like wild food, and you please get Samuel Thayer's book about foraging. Super good. And
what's the name of it?
This one's Forager's Harvest, the Forager's Harvest, but he's got several. Check out his stuff.
I'll link to all these books in the description.
Yeah, and does a super good job of just identifying, talking about all kinds of different wild food. And once you read the book, you're just like, oh my gosh, like we're just surrounded by abundance. And people don't even and that's why we don't really grow a lot of greens on our farm, is because we learned to identify wild greens. Sorry.
Motorcycle.
Wild greens, and they're just so abundant.
Yeah, like I grow arugula because I really like how it tastes. But we normally just harvest like violet greens, dandelion greens,
chicory,
and make a salad out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and sweet potato greens, okra green, things that we're already growing. Wild lettuce, thistle. I mean, it's
everywhere.
It's
chickweed,
everywhere.
We even say chickweed.
Chickweed, yeah, in the spring. There's just so many. But so.
I have a question.
Okay,
That's
question.
Going to segue into the next book.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I feel like a lot of people might have the complaint or the worry, well, organic and natural food is like really expensive. So how is that gonna like shake out? If we just transition to all organic and natural food, like people aren't gonna be able to afford it.
Okay.
So does organic and natural food have to be more expensive than conventional food? Should it be?
No, I don't think it has to be. I would say on average, food prices probably, on average, may rise.
You're saying in general, food in general, conventional, organic, period, the price.
Well, yeah, because there's so. This is a really hard question, because the tables are really tilted in favor of big ag. And there's a whole lot of costs that they just kind of get to hop, skip, and jump over. Mm-hmm. That small-time producers have to deal with. And they and they are constantly big ag is constantly pushing for more regulation because they know little guys can't compete in that arena. They can't spread out the cost over enough head. And therein lies a lot of the problem with food cost. There's a lot of regulation that is completely unnecessary, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with that, and we can go toe to toe on that. Some other point in time. But no, I don't think in general organic food does have to be more expensive. It is for a lot of reasons today, mostly due to regulation. I would make that argument, mostly due to regulation. But
so not the amount of labor involved.
no, I don't know. I don't think that. No, because there's ways to you can automate. Like Mark Shepard, where we have gotten a lot of nursery stock. I mean, they have an incredible amount of automation, and his price per tree and from his nursery stock is way less than about anybody else I can find, and good stock.
And on the flip
Check out his stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, would you argue that conventional food should be a lot more expensive if the government...
Yeah, sorry. I got caught up in that. Yeah, they get all kinds of tax breaks. They get all kinds of subsidies. So in ways that you are already paying for it before you reach the store, that dollar has already been pilfered out of the back of your pocket.
But it feels different. It looks different.
It feels different and looks different. But you've already prepaid for a good amount of that food that you're already going to pay again for.
I know you mentioned that when you went to Europe years back, the grass-fed steak there was cheaper than grain-fed because they don't have the same
incentive structures. Yes, and that's where it, in a lot of places around the world, grain-fed cattle is at a premium because it costs producers to buy the grain. Here it is completely inverse because there is so many grain subsidies across the board. And what's funny is because you're taught in university, they're like, well, meat producers do not have subsidies. Okay. But they get to take advantage of lower grain prices. And two, they do get tax incentives. And different tax breaks that other people do not get to have. So that's a subsidy in a way. It may not be direct payments in the same way, but if you get to have a lower cost structure than another guy who does have to pay these taxes,
what's the difference?
What's the difference at that point? That you're like, it's semantics. So we do not have a level playing field at all in organic versus conventional food.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pricing is
skewed.
It's super skewed. And I hate that. And, Masanobu Fukuoka, One Strong Revolution, oh my gosh. You should read this book. He's hilarious. He's now passed. But great book, great mentor. Read what he wrote. And I love it. Yeah.
He believed that natural food should be the cheapest food because natural systems can be incredibly hands-off. They can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And you can tell the funny story about
Yeah, well, I need to preface it by saying this. Like, he was growing rice, grains. He had a vegetable garden, of course, but he had a bunch of orchards, citrus orchards that he didn't prune, didn't do anything really to. He was able to produce in the 90th percentile of of producers in Japan, head to head with all of the conventional guys using tractors, using modern fertilizers, using modern seed. He didn't do that. He saved his seed. He was doing planting by hand, cutting and harvesting with a scythe, and was able to be in the 90-something percentile, proving, no, we don't need this stuff in the now modern age. Complete malarkey. Bullcrap. Doo-doo. But he was so productive, and it was really funny. There's a story in this book where he was taking a shipment of his citrus to I guess a grocer there in Japan, and he knew how much the grocer was paying him. He knew how much he was making, Masanobu Fukuoka was making, and he was living off of it. And then he saw the markup that the grocer was providing, putting on top of his product, and he lost his stuffings on the guy. He got completely... I can't remember if he... I feel like he threatened to not sell to him anymore. And the guy was just like, wait, no. People don't believe that you're growing it in this way unless you charge the high price. And, and he was just like, no, natural food should be the cheapest food in the world. And just was so angry about it. And it was hilarious. And that just shows you, like, it doesn't have to be expensive. And it's just, we have a really skewed perspective. Well, the higher price is better. Sometimes it's true. A lot of times it's true. But it doesn't have to be true, especially in food. And when you're relying on natural foods, natural methods to do most of the work for you. I love that story. And he seemed like a character. I wish I could have met the guy. I mean, just but yeah. So I think there's not really a question of whether or not can we do better and grow food without all of these pesticides, herbicides, GMO seeds, all of these things that are really like in all of human existence have been here for a very, very brief short amount of time. And now we think, well, we just cannot survive without them. No, that's just... It is completely inaccurate. But, do you have something else?
No. You have one more book there that you show to the camera.
Oh, yeah. How to Grow More Vegetables Than You Ever Thought Possible on Less Land Than You Can Imagine. That's the subtitle. Yeah. Great book. John Jevons, and they were the biointensive method. And definitely go get that book if you're interested in gardening and natural gardening and farming. I don't completely agree with everything philosophically that they kind of talk about, but super great resource book, data dependent, and
we kind of use them as like the framework to start our farm and garden here.
Yeah.
We've sort of, brought our own ideas to it, but, they do double digging, and that's what we did the first year to get things established.
It's just so heavy clay soil, yeah.
And they talk a lot about compost and, being able to get a lot of production in small areas, like he said. So, if you're interested in getting into this stuff and you're wondering where to start, that's one good book to start with.
Yeah. I mean, I would also recommend like the Permaculture Design Manual with David Holmgren and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. It's like
Bill Mollison.
Bill Mollison. Oh my gosh, sorry, Bill. But that's. I mean, both of these are like textbooks.
I would say the permaculture manual is much more of a textbook than how
Yeah.
to grow more vegetables.
Yeah, but if you're like serious about it, definitely get them. Definitely read them. And they're not just like throwing numbers out there. They're talking about how they have tested these methods over and over, and they got these numbers reliably. So it's not just made up.
Nobody paid them to tilt the numbers, as far as we know.
Yeah, no. But yeah, definitely. And like you said, we kind of use this as a jumping off point, and we've kind of moved more and more to the permaculture. I need to actually do my PDC, but that's something else. But yeah, so myth that we cannot feed the world.
Busted!
Yeah. Yeah, no. But once again, respect to all farmers. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, we're not trying to like show any disrespect, and to be honest, like, there are other people to blame for where we're at right now, and the reason why there are farmers that do believe this, they're being lied to, just to put it bluntly. For
the sake of somebody else's profits.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. So busted, and I don't know when we're gonna do this again. Maybe another 2 months. Hopefully not another 2
No,
months.
we're gonna try to do it at least once a month. We're gonna try our best, and I'm gonna try not to delete this. And we're gonna do another farm myths, but we're not 100% sure what the next farm myth is gonna be. We kind of talked about climate change and talking about our thoughts and feelings about that. Is it true? Is it not true?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's like, is it true or is it not true? But is it what it is hyped to be?
Is it how it's portrayed to be?
Yeah.
That's a much better way to say it.
Yeah, because no.
And are the answers to this issue of abusing the planet? Because I think that's a real true thing.
Yeah.
Abusing the planet. Are the answers to these issues the answers that are being sold to us?
Yeah.
Or are they something different?
100%. Yeah. Is there a profit into the lies being told there too? Yeah, I think there definitely is. But yeah, I think that'll be a fun one. This one was kind of directed more at big ag. I think the next one will be more directed at kind of small ag, and it'll be a fun one. Definitely feathers are going to be ruffled. I'm sure. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. If you brought up some valid points you've never heard of, or if you think we're just full of malarkey, just let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Sure, let's go. Let's talk.
And yeah, if you want to hear, just cut that out. Yeah, if you're interested in more farming and woodworking content, definitely subscribe to our channel. We do wood turning videos there. We do seed saving videos there. Gardening videos there. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a pea and cilantro. That's what we're going to be doing soon.
Yeah, we can do a pea saving video, and I was planning on doing a cilantro saving video, and I try to throw a little bit of cooking in there. I know I'm going to do a video on lacto fermenting some cucumbers soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely check it out. And thanks for watching this episode of the
Number
Wild
3
Land Farmstead podcast. We'll see you in about a month, hopefully, with the next episode. You have anything else?
No.
All right. Signing off.
Peace.